And it looks like we are live. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us on this rather beautiful day in Manchester, England. I am Misbah, and I'm going to be your host for today's session. I want to thank you all for joining us from wherever you are in the world. Please let us know in the comments where you're from. I can see that we've got so many people joining us from so many different continents and countries and cities. It's always exciting to see. I'm really, really excited for this particular webinar, and I know that we've got a lot of regular guests, people who've been joining us for this series, and this one in particular is really, really taken my eye because when I was a kid in school, I loved being in the library. I thought the library was a super magical place. It was almost this sort of in-between space between classes and home, and it was almost a little bit of a sanctuary, and the librarians were really cool as well, as they tend to be. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for this, and without further ado, I want to bring in our guests for this session. Elle, can you bring in our fabulous guests? Boom, here we go. We've got Deborah and we've got Christy. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here, taking your time out of your busy day.
Absolutely. So glad you could be here. And for anybody else out there seeing some folks, but ich bin ehemalige Deutschlehrerin und ich sage heute guten Morgen hier oder guten Tag.
That's really impressive. I feel really insecure all of a sudden.
Please don't.
Hey, I took 6 years of German. I'm impressed.
that's you are flexing on us there for sure.
That was great.
No, but I think that that's a testament really to how international our webinars tend to be here at Wakelet. And we've got people joining us from Romania, and it's 1 a.m. in Malaysia. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us. Big shout out to our incredible community in Malaysia and Indonesia and the Philippines and that part of the world. It's usually very, very late by the time we do our webinar. So, we have people in the community staying up till very, very late, way past my bedtime anyway, to join us on these. So I appreciate it so much. We've got people joining us from Greece, India, Conway, Glasgow. It's incredible. It's a party. Okay, so I'd love to do some introductions. Obviously, I know Deb and Christy, you guys have been working with Wakelet for quite some time now, and you have a very, very particular role as librarians in helping us build sort of the landscape of what a digital library looks like online as a learning platform. So I'd love to hear a little bit about both of you before we kind of dig into this webinar and hear some awesome ideas. So Deb, why don't you take it away? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. I am Deb Zeman, very long time Wakelet ambassador since I don't even know when. It was probably the first round. I'm a library and information technology educator in North Texas. I've been in education for 22 years, and this is my 6th year in a library. And it's a new landscape for me because I've gone down to middle school and I'm absolutely loving it. What else? I'm just big on integrating technology into the classroom and into the library, and I'm excited to show you all the different ways that Christy and I do Wakelet in the library. Christy?
Hi, and hey, Erin. I just saw Erin Jewell.
I saw Erin.
And she's one of our 13th wave of Wakelet ambassadors. So we're in the same group. So been with it for a little while.
And she's a fellow librarian here, so with me. So I'm excited that she's on.
Yes. And I'm in Lubbock, Texas. That's West Texas. And this is my 9th year at my current campus. It's Coronado High School. Before that, I spent a couple of years in a middle school library. And so this is my 11th year overall. Prior to that, in my earlier educational career, I taught German. And so that's my background coming into this. It has been an interesting couple of years, but I have in the library, of course, I'm really enjoying welcoming back in students and teachers this year. And I have really enjoyed over the last couple of years since really embracing Wakelet. There are just so many fantastic applications for me in the library, but also to share with students and with teachers. And so I've been very fortunate, very blessed to be able to put that out there and say, look at all the amazing things you can do with this tool.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
it's all free. Oh my goodness.
it's free.
And the other thing I will shout out, and it's like, hooray to Misbah, because I met him at a TCEA conference a couple years ago. I love the responsiveness of the Wakelet team, because when we have questions, when we have ideas, they are always adding new integrations, adding new ways of working with the platform. And I'm just amazed at all the changes that come through, all the, we would call them upgrades, but no, they're just part of it. So thank y'all for creating this, and I love sharing with y'all.
Yeah. And on a little side note, I saw Erin put it in there, how Christy and I met. She was actually one of my professors when I was going through grad school. And then we finally connected a few years ago at TCA, and we've been doing lots of stuff together since. So yeah, this is nice that I have a fellow librarian who was a professor of mine, now friend, on the other side of the state. Well, halfway aside, right?
Yeah.
Love it, halfway. So, which is a very long drive for you in UK. They can't understand that you're 6 hours away from me.
Yeah, we don't get it. Back when we were when we went to TCA and we heard the drive that you and Tish had done, Deb, it was like, we're not doing that in the UK. No chance. We're getting a train or something.
Exactly.
Driving for 2 hours is considered really long. Like that's like halfway across the country. So, but no, I really genuinely can't wait to hear your ideas with this, because I think that librarians, in particular, occupy a really special place in the school system, and you're really, really important. And I think that a lot of the inspiration that we've got, whether it's new features, whether it's ideas, whether it's different lesson plans and things that we've kind of shared with our community, they've come from librarians. So even if you are not a librarian, even if you don't work in a library setting, the library is an integral part of the school and the integral part of a student's progress and development. So just because you don't work in a library doesn't mean that you can't apply the tips that you're going to hear today in your own teaching. So I'm gonna pass it over to Deborah and Christy, whoever's deciding to go first, to show us some of these awesome stuff. And please, everybody in the chat, if you feel inspired by something that you've seen, if you feel like you want to contribute, please, these are really interactive. Feel at home to talk about what you want and contribute to the session as much as you like. And then we'll be back a little bit later to answer some of your questions that you might have as well. So I'm gonna kind of vanish into the mist and pass it over to Deborah and Christy. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna pull up my screen, and I believe that this Wakelet was shared in the chat, so please feel free to follow along. I'm gonna pull it up on another screen and watch. So we've already introduced ourselves, and we're gonna start first with Christy's idea. That's you.
Okay, so one of the ways that I have used, of course, we know that Wakelet is a wonderful curation tool. And so I've used it to collect some of the book trailers. Our state, Texas, has multiple reading lists, and there are several that are targeted toward high school students. One of those is the Maverick reading list, which is all graphic novels. Then we have the Tashos list, which is a mix, and we have Topaz, which is a nonfiction list. So I pulled book trailers from a resource called teachingbooks.net, but from YouTube as well, all that fit on this list, and created a collection of it. But rather than just putting a link to the collection, I'm able to embed my collections into my web page. So as you create it, as long as it's made public, you can go in and share it in a variety of different ways, but you can get an embed code and then put that in your website, which is what I've done. And so you can see a little bit of the header there, but the students can scroll through on the page here through all the book trailers that are in this collection. And you can play it right there in the pane. You can pop it out if you want to, but that's not required. And if you scroll down the page just a little bit more, then you'll see then there's the Tashos collection. I have a smaller header size on mine, just the half size. And then below that is the Topaz list, so some of our nonfiction book trailers. But students can come through and peruse those at their leisure.
I like that. I'm going to copy that one. One of the things that my previous district, a teacher was teaching English 4, which is senior English, but he was teaching it instead of the traditional way with British literature. He was teaching it as a graphic novel class. So he and I sat down and we discussed, okay, how can we pull all these resources together and share them with the kids? And I said, Wakelet. So what I did was, this is actually the space. And if you haven't had an opportunity to play with spaces, and this is a space within my actual Wakelet profile that I have curated a bunch of collections, and it's now they don't have to go through my page to dig through to find it. I'm able to just provide this link to the teacher, and he's able to embed it into his they use Schoology at my previous district, so he's able to embed this in there. And what I've done is it'll have the main of all the graphic novels that he'll be studying throughout the year. And then I've curated information about the different types of writing, persuasive, narrative, what else? Oh, they're all of them. It's been a while since I taught English, so pardon me. And then just all the different books that they're going to be reading. And within it, I'll pull up an example. Within the space is this one collection. They were going to be reading V is for Vendetta. And so what I did was I curated whatever I could to help the students understand the reasoning why the author wrote the book, interviews, book trailers. And the thing that's wonderful, if you don't know this about Wakelet, is when you click on one of these videos, you're not going over to YouTube. It is opening right up within the platform. So you don't even have to worry about them having to go into a whole other tab and to then get the video. The only thing I know, I've had it in my district, and I'm sure Christy in yours, you probably might have to authorize the videos depending on the age level of your kids, which is easy enough. It'll just be, yes, I allow it. So that was just one example of what I've done for a teacher at another district. Christy?
This next collection is one that we used for professional development. And we had, over the summer, I teamed up with several other librarians in the area, and we presented this particular session over developing a monthly reading plan. And one of the reasons why I really enjoy Wakelet too is because you can use that platform, you can use it with Microsoft, you can use it with Google. And in our region, we have some districts that do not allow Google. You cannot use Chrome, they can't access it. If we provided our links in Google Drive to share, they would not be able to access. And so even though the majority of ours are in Google, we still needed to come up with a platform agnostic program that would allow us to get the information out that we needed. And so again, Wakelet was the perfect tool for that. It allowed us to work together. We could each share. In this case, I believe there were two of us who were collaborating on this particular presentation. So I created the collection. I made her an editor on that. So she was able to drop in her items with it that we could then share out with everybody. You know, these are things that I've collected. These are things that she's collected, things that we've created. We were able to embed PDFs and links that were going out, but put everything in one location so that we knew everyone could come back to that. And sometimes it's really easy during the process or after the process say, I can't believe we did not add or include this information in our presentation. And because this is a live link, a live document, we could go in and while during the presentation, I could say, oh, I'm adding this right now and made it available immediately. Or I could come in after our presentation and throw it in and it was there as soon as they open it up.
Yeah, that's what I really like. It's an ongoing live feed. And that's really nice too. When you're at a conference, you can use it as a back channel, and you can have people contribute right to it while you're presenting. And it's a good place for taking notes. Whenever I go to a conference, I constantly use Wakelet. I create a bunch of collections for each presentation, but then within my space, I put all my notes, all my collections under there, and it's a one-stop shop. That's what I've always referred to Wakelet as, is your one-stop shop for information. Or I call it Pinterest on crack. That's like the easiest way to explain it, because now you're really curating it all and arranging it exactly how you want. And some of the collections, when you look, you'll see right now there's 4 different layouts: a compact view, the mood board, which is my favorite for photos. What are the other 2? I should know by now. Mood. And then, of course, the golden one that's coming, I cannot wait, is the columns view. That should be coming down shortly. So that's going to be a game changer.
There's also the grid. There's a grid, and there's a compact view.
Thank you. I couldn't remember at the top of my head. But yeah, that column view is going to be great, especially when you're working with a large group, and they'll be able to add in information under whichever column they want, which is nice. This is another project I did, and this is again another space. I did this with the English is all about the American dream and own voices titles. So what we did was we curated, again, based on the Tayshaus list, based on the Topaz list, based on the Maverick list, all the different types of books that would fit that theme. And including in it, we included the TEACs. Those are our objectives we have to follow in Texas. And the actual challenge. I don't know if I can actually click on this. It might lock me out, but I have to fix it. But it gives all the different things, all the different titles. Again, you can see 6 items, 8 items. Again, videos of trailers, videos of author interviews, PDFs of articles. And again, it's a space, and within the space is the different collections. That's the one thing I love about Wakelet, is being able to have that. And then this is yours, right? The book trailers, or did we look at that already?
I think this is duplicate of the other one.
And again, that's the thing that's great about Wakelet. We can just go in and fix it.
Exactly. But that one has a cute GIF on it. And so that's the one we want to keep. We'll take out the other one.
Yeah. And if you don't know that, you can now add a GIF into your Wakelet collections, which is wonderful, because again, that attracts the kids too. This month, and this is for both Christy and I and all librarians, this is the month of the Banned Books Week. And this is held at the end of September. And I had last year's in here, and I literally quickly, in 5 minutes time, I was able to throw together this collection of all the resources that the American Library Association provides to librarians, both public and school and academic. And I pulled it together, and it's going to be a collection that I actually share with my kids. So when I have the display of the books that have been challenged or banned, this is something I can make a QR code, and they can reference back to it and understand why these books have been challenged, what it is like to be a librarian to fight these challenges on a daily basis. So I included the link, and this goes straight to the ALA page, and then a description, and then I just threw in all the different things, the video that they provided over the top 10, and then they provided visuals explaining why each book is on this list. And again, the one-stop shop, it's got everything that a library needs for Banned Books Week is included in here. There's even PDFs of coloring pages and word searches. And again, it has all the graphics to explain censorship and challenges and where it's coming from. And again, this is, it could be a good thing you can share with parents too, to help them understand.
Yes. I'm seeing a question over here real quickly. is it possible to send forms? Basically, if there is a link, then yes, you can include it in Wakelet. So,
And
so
there's
you'll
an
share the
example.
collection link, and you can embed if it's a Google form, if it's a Survey Monkey, whatever you're using.
And I believe OneNote also you can share. And I do know you have to be careful. This Wakelet that you're seeing is in my personal account, but if I'm including a Wakelet that I created, but it has a Google form in it and it's for school, I make sure that link in that form is created through my school account. Because if the kids try to access it and it's through your personal account, it won't work. It'll block it. So it's better. Like I did create a Wakelet account. I think this is my 4th Wakelet account for my new library. So now I won't have a problem creating the form. And the thing that's nice is it's connected straight to my Google account. So I can just click on my Google account, pull it in, and there's the form. And the kids are able to fill out the form and submit it right there. I think I said that correctly. This is something new. And again, hopefully Erin is in there. This is Friday. She does First Line Fridays. And when it opens, sorry, my internet's a little sluggish today. What she did is she created graphics with the first line from a book. So I borrowed her idea because that's what we do. We borrow from each other, but make sure we give credit back. And what I did was I started creating a place where I could include all the different graphics that I made, which I believe I made in Canva. So now the kids can scroll through. And the first one that I made was for Jason Reynolds' Long Way Down. And I'm posting it in my library Canvas course, but I'm curating them all into a final Wakelet so I can share it out with people in, like this in webinars or with other librarians. And again, the thing that's nice is the kids can scroll through and see everything that I've created. So that's just a fun little way of promoting books and garnering interest in these books and getting the kids to come in. It can help with your circulation, and the kids will read one by this author and they may end up being interested in reading another one by that author. Okay, Christy, I believe this is yours.
So Deb and I included within this collection some different ways that we share out Wakelet with our teachers and with our colleagues. This particular collection is one that I shared this summer with some teachers in the district about getting started with Wakelet. So for those of you who are new, this is just an option to come in, and some of this was pulled from the Getting Started guide for Wakelet, but different applications for why you would use Wakelet, the link to the guide, the link to the templates, to the PD hub. And so nothing really fancy going on here, but just a little bit of information why I like Wakelet so much and how to get started with it.
Yeah, and then this is, again, there's what I call, and I've heard this from another librarian, it's Tech in 10. So you could literally create this for your teachers, send it out to them, which may end up sparking some interest. And they may say, hey, I saw these templates. Do you think you might be able to help me with one? Because again, that's the idea behind librarians. And it's my mantra. It's not just books and bonbons. We're there for instructional technology. We're the information specialists. And what better way to share that information with teachers is by curating into a quick Wakelet. Here you go. Here's the information. I did that last year. I remember the campus got an account to GimKit, and I had a couple teachers say, I don't know what this is. I just pulled up Wakelet, created a 5-minute collection with all information. I think there were 7 or 8 resources, sent them out, and they were like, this is great. Thank you so much. Again, that one-stop shop. This was a project I did with a sophomore English teacher, pre-AP, and it's a social justice unit, and she wanted the kids to choose from a list of 8 or 10 books. So, or sorry, in this case, 6. So what I did was I created headers. This, I believe, I created in, what is it called? Flaming text, which is nice because then you can just import it as a PNG. And that's what's nice about Wakelet too. You can import all different kinds of artifacts from other apps. I think at one point I've seen a presentation that someone did that there's like 35 plus app smashes. And if you go look for that, you'll see all the different apps you can incorporate into here. So what I did for her is I just, again, curated all the different book information and a one-stop shop. So these kids get I call it a book tasting. They get a virtual book tasting to give them an idea of maybe I do want to read this book. So this was just one. Again, I just threw it together in probably 10 minutes. And the thing that was great too is when you want to add a video, you can search right in the platform in YouTube for a video and then just add it. And it's there. And again, when they play the videos, it pops right out in the platform. Christy, I believe this is you.
Right. This is a collection that I shared also with our teachers. The New York Times offers a free educational platform for teachers and for students to use. And so and it'll populate here in just a moment, but their learning network is fantastic to supplement all the core as well as elective subjects. So you can sign in, create a teacher account, and then they use content from the New York Times to generate discussion, to provide lesson plans. So for those of you who are familiar with the Super Bowl in American football, there was, during one of the previous Super Bowls, there was a lesson on reading graphs and charts that had to do with the Super Bowl. And of course, that's engaging for our students, maybe a population of students that you might not otherwise engage. There are writing prompts, there are picture prompts, there are lesson plans for this. It's changed a little bit since I put this collection together. The platform for the Learning Network has changed ever so slightly, but this is fantastic if you're trying to engage your students and come up with writing topics or just discussion topics, current event topics. This is a great resource for them to use. And once again, it's completely free. Now you see right here, as Deb is scrolling down, notice that you can embed tweets. You can do the same thing with Instagram. Anything that has a direct link, I don't have to send you over to the Learning Network's Twitter account. I can pull that specific tweet that I want, embed it in my collection, and then anybody visiting can click on it, link out to that. Therefore, if there were any additional links in that tweet, then they could access those.
Yeah, that's really great too for Twitter chats. I know when I've not been able to go to a conference and someone has put a hashtag, I usually wait until later in the night or early the next morning, and you can pull the tweets with that hashtag right into a collection. I think was a TCA 2 years ago. I think I pulled something like 7,300 tweets. Took a little bit of time, but again, people will share out their presentations. People will share out information or tips, especially like tech tips is really great. And like Christy said, you'll have that one tweet, but then when you click on it, then you'll get all the responses and anything else other people might have posted that might help you with what you're looking for. So this is great. And again, this is great also, especially for writing state tests. In Texas, we have what's called the STAR test, and being able to have all these writing prompts, because I think, what is it? ninth grade is expository and 10th grade is the persuasive. Well, you're getting all these different writing prompts from the New York Times, and that again will spark a way that the kids can start writing geared towards the test. So again, another great resource that we can use. I'm going to skip that one. I'll let you go to this one.
So I try to put all my digital resources into one place. I also break them down a bit more so that I can share just the resources that are relevant to my math teachers, to my math, and such. But in this particular collection, I focused more on a resource from EBSCO called Learning Express. And yeah, it is Learning Express.
Yeah.
And they have resources for test preparation, just for study skills, again, for all your major core curriculum areas for the math, sciences, social studies, and English reading. They also have additional resources. Here you can see STAR and TSI. These are some exams that one is very specific to Texas. Actually, both of these are. One is a basic skills to graduate from high school. The other is a type of college entrance exam that we use. For advanced placement resources, there's a particular link. And so I was able to go through and divide up in this particular collection. These again are all resources that are tied specifically to the Learning Express to help with college and career readiness, but pulled out so that teachers can see, okay, this is for testing, this is for your AP, this is for study skills. And again, went through each of those. And I believe there's some STEM, CTE and career resources in this as well. So even though all of these links, I could go to one page and find the major headings for this, I was able to break it down within the collection so that our teachers and students can see exactly what is offered in this particular resource. And rather than having to open it up and do multiple clicks, they can just open this collection, find exactly what they're looking for, do the one click, and it will take them where they need to go.
I really love this. And, this is where you could take it a step further, and you could actually create a space called digital resources, and then take these different sections and make just a collection for math, a collection for science. So that way your teachers don't have to just do like what I'm doing, scrolling. They can just click on the individual topic and you can add even more to it. That's what's really nice about Wakelet. You have different options of how you can present this information. These are really good. I need to take a look at these some more.
Thank you.
This one I'm going to just leave in here. This is the digital reading journals. This was created by Christina Holtzweiss. And this is another way that when kids are reading, I'll see if it'll pull up, they record their experiences, their thoughts on what they're reading. And I believe this is different templates within here where you're able to copy this, and they can, again, it's to make it not so boring. And she goes through and explains how to use it, what are the different things you could create, all the different types of digital projects you could create that can be linked right into Wakelet. And then she gives some writing responses within here. So this is just another way for kids or teachers to take that technology and integrate it into their curriculum, not the usual pen and paper, but most places nowadays are one-to-one. And, depending on if they're using the laptop, Chromebook, or iPad, they're able to use Wakelet and use this reading journal. So I really like this. This is a great idea.
And just to point out that I love how all these different platforms or tools can be shared. Mm-hmm. If you're familiar with the term app smashing, Wakelet is a perfect example of a tool that can be used in app smashing or integration, however you want to think about it, because you can bring in Flipgrid, you can create in Canva or in Adobe Spark, you can bring things from Microsoft or from Google and all of their applications. You can take it and bring it into this particular collection, and there it is.
Yeah. And then I believe they have, not on the iPad, but I know when they're using a laptop, I believe they have the access to create the Flipgrid short video. I think, I can't remember. I've got to look into that a little bit more. But I believe if they're 14 and over, they can. I'm not sure about the 13 and over. I'm going to find that information out. And then this is yours too, your library.
This particular collection is a work in progress. Even though our school year has begun, I'm still working on my library orientation. In fact, in about half an hour, we'll be greeting another group of students to come in. But I use this collection to provide information that I would in my orientation. One of the nice things is I can present it all face-to-face, but students are going to lose all that if they don't see it somewhere in writing. I can put it all into a video and share it out, or I can screencast it, but I still, if I don't want to go too long with it. So using Wakelet for my orientation allows me to chunk those pieces. Like I said, this is still a work in progress, but I was able to provide a link to my website to put my face out there so that students would recognize. I've got a link there to our Destiny Discover library catalog so they can go in and start searching. We use Overdrive and Sora, and so a little bit of getting started for that. I also added a link to the library's Instagram and Twitter accounts, and there once again is another document for the digital resources that we offer. Now, I do plan on adding some videos to this, and whether it be a screencast or something that I post to YouTube, or if I get bold enough to go into TikTok and create it, I can take it, I can put it in this, and they can just play those short segments. So once again, taking it at their own pace, not overwhelming. So you're feeling like, I know I heard that at some point, and you're trying to go back and forth between that video. This allows me to provide that information in those digestible pieces, kind of providing that just in time instruction that we try as librarians to provide.
Yeah, and I like how you said that. It is a work in progress. Every year, or every week, really, something is always changing. And I know Wakelet during the COVID pandemic and when we were all virtual was a game changer, being able to share all these resources out immediately, changing up. So Chrissy could turn around and take this, what she's got, and make it a full-blown, it's a virtual, I'm not going to have any kids. So here's my orientation since we can't be together. Here's all the different ways that you can still use the library. And like she was saying, adding in a little video here and there, you can do that. Again, that Flipgrid short, especially for educators, is a game changer where you can walk them through, do a screencastify and put it right in there, or a Loom video and put it right in there. And you can, like I said, change it at the drop of a hat. If for some reason we got shut down again, she could turn around and immediately tweak this entire thing, or she can just make a copy of it, which is nice. She gives credit back to herself, but again, she can go and change it as quickly as she can. And the thing that's nice is you can change it on your laptop. You can change it on your phone. You can change it on your iPad. That's what's nice. It's across the tech platforms. If you can fix all these things and add to, and I think we'll talk about the different where we can add it. So the next thing I was going to show, I literally just threw this together this morning. I'm going to be sharing it out with my students and putting it out on the library Facebook page. I created a monthly newsletter. Within the collection is a template, all different templates of different styles of newsletters. So what I did, this is just mine. I created all the headers in Canva. I think it was 6 inches by 1 inches is the custom size. That was Brandy Reams who told me that. She's another Wakelet ambassador, always has fantastic ideas. So I just created it. And again, like Christy said before, it's that one-stop shop that kids can go to if they're not with me the day I do my morning orientation. All the information is here. I just put in a librarian's message. I put in reminders, talked about the check-in. Again, these are all things I made in Canva. If I had made them in Spark, you can now integrate right from Spark into your collection. I did an infographic that I added. I wanted to share. Look what we did in the first 2 weeks that the library was open. And I was able to share it. I'm able to, here's the wonderfulness that's going on in your library. Any important dates I might have. And then I integrated my first Friday line in there. A student showcase. If I have kids coming in and they're, doing Breakout EDU or they're doing Makerspace, I can share what's happening in the library with the community. And that's what's really nice is I share it within the Canvas course or on the Facebook page, and parents are able to click and go right there and see everything that's happening. And then I just said events. And then again, I linked all the different resources that we have for my school, added the Lone Star list. Again, that's just a PDF that I added in, and some little tech tips. But that's just one way you can do the newsletter. I can't wait till the columns feature comes into play, because then I can really make the columns all pretty and have different headers and have it a different flow than just the media flow. So I've included the link to all the templates. Plus, I believe there's on the Wakelet support page, there is a place for all the templates too. This was a research project I did as an English teacher years ago using an old platform called Symbaloo. But then when Wakelet came along, I said, oh, this is so much better. So what I did was, there's the assignment, and they have all the different things that they have to do. But what I also have is embedded into it all the resources. So now the kids can click right within this main collection and go off and get all the vetted resources. They do not have to go out to Google and do a search. I have gotten all the resources together for them, and this is what they're going to use for the project. And then I list all the topics, and they have to actually create their final project in a Wakelet. And that's where classrooms come into play, where you can have all your kids assigned to a classroom in Wakelet, and they're able to create their their assignments in Wakelet, and you'll be able to see as a teacher when it's all been submitted. So that's just one example of an assignment that you can do in Wakelet. And that's just another example I threw in there. This is recognition days, and in Texas, a lot of most states, they recognize all the different holidays of the United States, and not your typical Labor Day and Memorial Day. But I threw this together. It was originally put together on a Google Doc with 9 million links. And I said, no, let's make this pretty. So this is a space called Recognition Days, and it has all links to other collections for all different types of holidays that are recognized, at least in the state of Texas. And this is great, not just for history classes, but for any classes that might be doing some kind of assignment. They can go right here and they can find all the resources they need. And for me, anything that is new and updated, I can just go right in and add it. And again, in real time, they will see the updates to the collection. And then comes my baby, The Student Ambassador Program. Some people I know are familiar with it. Tisha Ponceo and I are the co-creators with Wakelet, where it focuses on digital citizenship. And I know, being a librarian, that is one of the things that we have to focus on, and I'm sure Christy does too. Wakelet, we turn around and we created this program where it's the 6 C's, which is creativity, collaboration, communication, critical thinking. The 5th C is the curation, which is Wakelet. And the 6th C is citizenship. And so you can sign up for this program, and within here, it has all the different resources of what it is, what the purpose is. When we did this with our former SWAT EdTech team, we crashed it through in about 2.5, 3 weeks, give or take. You can do this by 9 weeks or 6 weeks, depending on what your school schedule is. I did this last fall and spring with my former library aides, and it worked great. The thing that's nice is the kids get badges. Kids always want stuff, so you can get them a badge. So it has all the objectives and everything you need to get started. Meet the ambassador, critical thinking and perspective, 2 sides of an argument. Creativity, they create a flag for the Global Wakelet Student Program. And then we have, let's see, sorry, it's a little slow, the Noteworthy playlist. And again, where the citizenship part comes into play is they're supposed to share these collections with a couple of other classmates, and they're supposed to be able to contribute too. So it's teaching them about what's right and what's wrong, what can I contribute, what I shouldn't contribute, being more aware. And again, that also flows into your personal brand. You're not going to throw something in there that's going to have a negative impact on this person's collection, but also on yourself. And then we had the Student's Choice, where they can create a collection communicating about anything. And then their final is their digital portfolio. That is the key. I know that nowadays, and I know Christy can agree with me, universities want you to show. Don't just tell with a piece of paper and a form. They want to see what you can do. And the best way to do that is to create a digital portfolio. And in this collection is all of the ambassadors from the last couple of years from our kids in our old district. But I'm going to show you 2 examples. Julie is a former SWAT member. She's now in college. She used this for her baking company. I am Madam Pastry. And then Honora is currently a senior. She has presented with me over digital portfolios. But this is what kids can now have to present to the world. This is what I have done. So this is an example of Honora's digital portfolio. And this is really the future. And what our kids did is they started out with the Student Ambassador Program. And you'll see within here, she does towards the bottom have her 5 artifacts. But what she's done is she's expanded on it, and she's got her personal where she can show all her achievements. She's got her resume in here. She has a business now where she creates things. So why not show off what you're doing there? And then what she's done in SWAT, what she's created, what graphics. And the thing that's great is with a digital portfolio, kids can see their progress. They can see how they have improved. They may start out really basic with, say, a Buncee or an Adobe Spark or even a Canva. And then throughout the year, you get to see how well they've done. I know one of our former SWAT members, Julie's sister, did her photography portfolio, and you can see where she started as a freshman and where she got to now as a sophomore in college, or maybe a junior, I can't remember. So again, this is showing, not telling, and this is all part of the Student Ambassador Program, which is wonderful, and I can't wait to start that here. We've also included the webinar in here. Christy, this is you, Digital Citizenship, to continue.
Okay, and just a quick note to Karen had asked, can the Students Ambassadors Program start at any time? Yes, you can start that. There's no deadline to start, finish, anything like that.
And I know we're working on an elementary version. I've had some librarians reach out to me wanting to do that. You can do all this with the littles because you don't need an email for them with the classroom. You're protecting them, and they can start their portfolio when they're in 3rd and 4th grade and then carry it up through them with them all through middle and high school and beyond into college.
All right, this is actually the class that for one of the classes that I'm teaching, or the class that I'm teaching at the university level this semester. So I am teaching a digital citizenship course, and it contains items that I collected over the past year. But once again, and this is the mood board layout. So you can see that it's not necessarily everything squared up, but a little different on there. You can see that I embedded several tweets from Jennifer Lagarde and Darren Hudgens' new book that's coming out. I was able to add a Google document to it. That Google Doc, I think after talking or listening to Deb right now, I'm going to turn that Google Doc actually into a Wakelet collection so that I can pull the covers from all the titles. I can put it in there. I can provide a link to purchasing it for students that get a little more information out there for them. But again, this is just a collection that we put together also in part for a digital citizenship program that we were using for our for our campus a couple of years ago. One thing that I do, there are certain themes that I am always on the lookout for, whether it's webinars that I attend or tweets that I see or emails that come my way, blogs, whatever it might be. This is a place where I can go in very easily and say, this is over the topic of digital citizenship. I need a place to keep all these because, just starring something in or favoriting something in Twitter, I'm going to lose it. If I wait more than a few days, then it's gone. But I can pull, and I really enjoy using my Wakelet Chrome extension. I've got a lot of love for that little thing right there, because any set of Google Slides that I have or a website that I come across, all I have to do is with my Chrome extension, I can, when I'm on that particular page, that tab, I click my extension, it asks what collection I want to add it to. I select it, I drop it in. It is super fast, super simple. So yeah, like Deb is doing right now. She hit the extension, it brings up this screen that says it asks where she wants to save that item, and she can even add a new collection. If she doesn't have one that already fits it, then without exiting and coming back to it, she can create that new collection with it.
Yeah, you can even do that on your phone, and you can do that on your iPad. It is, it's not an extension, but when you're on your phone or your iPad, when you get that little square with the arrow and you click it, share to, there's the Wakelet. You can click on it, and then again, you can create a new collection, or you can just add it to a collection you have, or just save it as a bookmark. And that's what's nice too. I like being able to go back and look at my bookmarks that have not been shelved, I guess you could say, into a collection. And I can say, oh, well, you know what? I like all these. I'm going to put them in a whole brand new collection. And your bookmarks are there forever. So that's what's really nice. Couple other things we'll talk about. I'm not sure. I think we might be running out of time. The personal shopper, I did that with COVID last year. And with the kids, I would just ask them in a Google form what kind of books, what kind of interests they have. I would get the spreadsheet, and I would create individual collections based on their response. And again, add book trailers, author interviews, SoundCloud, I was able to link the 5-minute audio clip in it. And then from there, kids were able to either go to Mac and Via or Sora and sign out the ebook or sign out the audiobook. It was great. I've also included in here, you were talking about the form. I've created what's called the Wakeout. Those are digital breakouts where this is and in it is a Google form that is created in the school email platform. So you can use it in the Google collection with your school. And I was able to, you'll see it in a second when it comes up, list all the clues, but there's the form and the kids are able to click on it and it opens in a new tab and they're able to add their answers in and toggle back to the clues. They can fill out the whole thing once they're done with the clues. So they've got the 4 clues. They fill out the form, which is embedded right into the Wakelet. They open it up, they can answer it, and then they can submit. And they don't even have to close that form again, because if they get it wrong, they want to be able to see what they got right and then go back and edit. So this was just another fun thing for the kids to use during COVID. Here, you finished this, so now you can use that. So that was just one fun thing I created, and I've even included the Wakeout template, which I believe has my blog. That's a step-by-step of how to create the Wakeout template, Wakeout game for you. And then this is yours.
Yeah, this is just one more collection promotion for Sora and for summer reading program. This has an Adobe Spark Pages link embedded into it. So the first thing you'll see when it actually loads is the pages image and the link they can go to. It's just one more piece to push out to my students information that they can come back and access, that provides how-tos, it provides whys, it gives them images and shortcuts.
Again, one-stop shop. And again, I'm sure you use this not just the summertime, but during COVID.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And then the last thing I'm including, this is something we started last year, I believe, during Community Week. Sherry Gick created it. It is a collection of school librarians to follow on Wakelet. So the code is included there for you. You can join in and you can add your Wakelet or your Twitter if you haven't yet started on Wakelet, and you can find all different librarians on here to follow. And again, this is a great artifact to use for professional development when you're at a conference. This is another one of those back channels that you can use. And so you can see these are all the different people have just added in there, and you can find librarians that have something in common with you, ones that you wanted to follow, you name it. So this was just another example of professional development. Again, you have this link. You're more than welcome to, I believe, make a copy of it, refer back to it. I'm going to stop hiding now. So now I can go back. There we go. Did anybody?
And I don't know if you noticed on there, you probably didn't, but Deb had put this as a restricted view. So you can decide how you want your collections to look. There are some for conferences that I've paid for. There might be instances where I don't want to make those resources available for everybody to find, and to respect the rights of the presenters whose resources I have. And so I can make it where it's private. I can make a collection to where it's restricted so that only the people attending the webinar, or only the people in English 3, those teachers are going to get it. And only if they have the link. Or I can make it public, so where it shows up on my homepage to where it's searchable, anybody can find it.
Right, searchable and explore in the Wakelet Explorer. And I will make this public, so anybody is more than welcome to take a look at it. Hopefully you get some great ideas. Were there any more questions in here? Because I couldn't see the chat.
I did see a question a little while back that was asking about Google Sites and using this as opposed to Google Sites. You know, if I understood the context, it was that your district is encouraging you to use Google Sites. And so, yeah, by all means, but Wakelet integrates into Google Sites beautifully. So whether you choose to embed it using HTML on there or just add it by the link, you can also take your Wakelets, you can create a PDF of it and put it in there. There's so many ways that you can actually use it. I like using the two together because sometimes for a particular collection, the website's going to be easier to navigate. That said, if we back up and go to the Wakelet Spaces, and you're using your Wakelet Spaces, then in that case, it could serve in place of a website because you have each of those individual pieces and the collections then that fit under those. So obviously, we're not going to say don't use what your district is asking you to use, but know that they work together so well. And honestly, I like how I can pick those pieces, how I can create those formats, you know, whether it's mood board or I can have that the listing there, the news feed, to put into the website so I can structure it, order it exactly how I want it to.
Well, that's why I created the Wake Out, because kids get smart, and when you create it on a Google site, they know how to look for the HTML code, which then gets them the answer. So I was like, no. What can I do on Wakelet? And so that's how the Wake Out came to fruition.
And I also think that with the, that was one of the things, first of all, that was incredible, by the way. Like, I was writing so many notes down for like ideas that you gave me, but also things which I wanted to follow up on. But you've followed up on most of them anyway. So, but yeah, just with the embed story, like, I was so happy that you started with that, because a lot of people don't actually know that you can embed Wakelet collections. And like you said, it works beautifully with Google Sites, and there are lots of benefits. Like, you can have, you know, multiple teachers who are all contributing towards a collection that then updates on the Google Sites, and you know, you can use your phone really quickly. As soon as you add something to a Wakelet collection or get rid of it or change it, it's going to change and, you know, reflect that on the Google Sites. But yeah, I loved so many ideas. I love the stuff that you spoke about with Spaces. Again, like the focus on having mixed media in your collections, like being able to have a YouTube video next to a piece of text next to a PDF, and so on and so forth. Also the professional development story as well. Like, we're noticing that so many more educators are preparing this year to use Wakelet for professional development and create their own portfolios and record their progress, and then passing that on to their students, like how you showed Honora. So yeah, I loved everything that you showed in this particular webinar, and I know that it's going to be very, very popular as well once the recording goes up. I know that you have a class that you've got to get to, Christy, so I'm gonna cut it there, but I want to thank both you and Deborah for joining us today. It's been absolutely amazing, and a huge thank you to our big international audience who've joined us today for this hour of learning. I'd love to pass it over back to you guys to just have the final word before we sign off. Anything else that you have to say to our community about this?
Use it. That's the only thing I can say. Use it, because like I said, ever since I learned about it, I don't remember, it was fall of 17 or 18. I've never not used it. It's never not been part of my personal and professional. And that's the thing too. You can use it for personal stuff. I used it at my son's wedding. I created QR codes, and I told everybody, any pictures you take, scan the QR code and it'll go right to the Wakelet. And we got something like 100 pictures that were not what the photographer took. You know, you can do recipes, you can do birthday wishes and all that kind of stuff within Wakelet. So I say just—
I love that wedding picture idea, because I've got a kid getting married in December. Boom.
It was, you know, again, it's just an easy way to curate. And then you can, you know, go that deeper step and create that space. So like when you were showing that one collection, I was like, wait, this would really be good in a space. Get it over in the space, because then, like, because you made it for your teachers. math, science, history. All they have to do is, well, I don't want to see the math and the English. I just want to see the science. Click, boom, it goes right to what they wanted. So,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's so much to do. And I can't wait. Columns, I can't wait. I remember talking to somebody about columns like 2 years ago. I was like, please.
I know. We know it's been a long time coming, but
Yeah.
we think that the columns layout is really going to completely supercharge the collaboration element on Wakelet as well. Like it's really exciting for us. Yeah. Well, anything from you, Christy, before we leave?
You're not going to break it. Play around with it.
Right.
There are so many potential applications. Just start playing, and you're going to realize, oh, I could do it for this. Oh, it might work for that. First, it took me a little bit to decide exactly how I was going to start using it. Part of it was just getting in and looking at other people's collections and how they were. And from there, I'm finding constant ways to use it, new ways to use it, to get it out there for my students, to put it for my teachers, to use it personally. It's just, I cannot sing praises enough of this tool. The team is responsive. From when I started using it 2-3 years ago, there are so many changes, and it's, I won't say it's unrecognizable from where it started, but it has just exponentially improved.
Yeah.
What we're really trying to do is create the ultimate learning platform, something that includes a little bit of everything, the best of everything, all in one place. So, without the help from people like you and our community, we wouldn't even be close. So, we really, really appreciate it. I want to thank you both again so much, sincerely. Honestly, it was a wonderful, wonderful session today. And please, everybody in the chat, stay tuned. We've always got plenty of really interesting webinars on the horizon. There's going to be so many awesome things that we're going to be releasing this year, and the best of luck as well. I know that many of you have either already started school or you're just about to. I know it's coming into September. I want to wish you the best of luck and hope that you have a great year with not too many challenges, even though I know you'll be able to overcome them. But I want to say a huge thank you from the whole of the Wakelet team, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much, and take care.
Bye, everybody.